Live from the Business RadioX studio inside Renaissance Bank, the bank that specializes in understanding you. It's time for North Fulton Business Radio.
And hello again, everyone. Welcome to yet another edition of North Fulton Business Radio. I'm John Ray, and we are coming to you from the Business Radio X studio inside Renaissance Bank in Alpharetta. We're talking gifts. We're talking kitchens today. We've got Tracy Jardine, and she's with Tributes by Tracy, and Jack Spicer. And Jack is the owner of Kitchen Tune-Up Atlanta Roswell. Let's start with Tracy. I want to hear about gifts first. Gifts are always fun, right?
Gifts are always fun, John. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So, Tracy, tell us about Tributes by Tracy.
Well, Tributes by Tracy is a brainchild of mine that's probably been cooking for about 25 years. And so I'm super excited about it. And basically what I do is I work with marketing directors, business owners to help them incorporate gifting into their marketing budgets. Really help them drive referrals, maintain client and employee retention, and things like that.
Now, you said this has been cooking for a while.
It has.
Yeah, tell us about the inspiration for why you wanted to create this. A lot of gifting companies out there. So what was your inspiration in this particular case?
Well, I need to go back to my background for that a little bit. I'm actually a retired CPA. And so I worked for about 21 years. I was a partner in a large local firm in Florida. And we were constantly having payroll companies, bankers, business attorneys come in and try to generate referrals from us.
Woo you, yeah.
Right. With rumpled bags of bagels and donuts and Chick-fil-A, which are fabulous. But they weren't really getting the result that they wanted. And I always had that kind of in the back of my mind is there has to be a better way. And so over time, I was able to kind of transition into that and find what that better way was. So what makes me unique is that I incorporate not only the creative side of a gifting company, as well as the experience that I had as a shareholder in a CPA firm, because I have the business consulting side that I bring along, as well as that marketing side that I had to pull out of myself as an owner. And so I'm able to coach them along the way, which they don't get when they go to Costco or something online.
The internet does not give you consultation,
they
correct?
Really don't.
Yeah. It's amazing how that works.
Consultation is key, John.
Yeah, absolutely. Or advice, good advice. And you, because you are one of those professionals that were gifted a lot, right?
Yes.
And because you're familiar with professional services firms, you can help folks deliver the right gift, the right message.
Absolutely. You know, most businesses, all businesses have three main assets, right? You have your clients, your employees, and your referral sources. And if you lose track of any one of those three, your stool is going to wobble. But what they don't always recognize is that the gifts that they're giving may not be giving any message at all, or might be sending a message that is completely opposite of what they were intending to send. And so by working with them to determine where is your pain point, what is it that needs to be addressed to deal with that pain point? Is it in need of a thank you? Is it in need of a please? And then making sure that that giftable is an extension of their brand, because that's really important. You know, we spend a lot of time making sure that our website is fabulous and our business cards and our logoed shirts and so forth are fabulous. But then maybe our employees or maybe our gifting is giving off a completely different message unbeknownst to us.
For sure. Now, Tracy, I'm curious about what exactly you do when you go through this consultative process. How does that work? So I come to you and I say, I need help. Well, right, and I do need help, but that's another subject.
That's another subject.
Yeah, walk me through what a consultative process with a client looks like.
So basically, we set up the initial appointment, which is a consultation, and that's where we really talk about, tell me what your issues are. We talk about those pain points. We talk about the messages that need to be sent. We talk about some things they've done in the past that have worked for them and so forth. And we try to build on that a little bit. Maybe they have some favorite logoed items they're already using, and that's great. We can incorporate that in. The next part that I do is I take that back to my office, and that's when the creative juices start flowing. We set an appointment typically a week or so out, depending on their timetable. If they're in a hurry, I can do it next day. but I want to do something called a presentation. So I create some mock-ups. Some of them will be in picture form. Some of them will be actual items I'll take with me to the presentation so they can touch it and feel it. Women love that. Men like to see the quality, right? So that's always really important. And we take that back and we kind of see which direction do you want to go. From that point forward, we try to create what's a system. And that might be, what are the trigger points that generate these giftable items? Are there different tiers for them? If someone does this, do they get this level of a gift? And if someone does something higher, do they get this level of a gift? And then ultimately, the goal would be see if we can make it report driven. Again, the CPA in me wants to make this as easy and as efficient on them as possible. They need to focus their time on generating revenue, doing what they do. They don't need to be having their wives or their administrative assistants out there trying to create gifts. So by having something that they can just send a report over to me weekly, monthly, I handle that for them. I become their easy button.
Now, Tracy, how do you differ from a promotional products company?
So promotional products companies, there is a slight bit of overlap, but not a whole lot. Promotional products companies are focused on primarily those logoed shirts, T-shirts, uniforms, things like that, as well as pens, koozies, things that go to expos, individual type items. What I do is I take a collection of things, and it should not all be logoed items. Again, there's a very big distinction between a please and a thank you. And you don't want to muddle the two or the message gets lost. So sometimes there's a need for those promotional items and sometimes there is not. Oftentimes when they need those promotional items, I actually go out and get them from a promotional products company. But what I do is the collected gift. I create a giftable that might be in the form of a basket. I hate to say I'm a gift basket company because I'm not. And it kind of gives the impression of, those little Easter baskets you might pick up at a Walmart or Target, right?
With the fake grass?
Exactly.
Okay.
So I like to call them vessels.
Oh, okay.
Because it might be, a Yeti cooler. It might be a fabulous wooden food board. It might, whatever it might be. That's the base. That's the vessel. And then we kind of add things onto that. Some are going to be fabulous gifts, maybe spa products, maybe food items, all different types of things. There may be a logoed item or two in there. There may not be, depending on what the purpose of the gift is.
You've made a really good distinction that I like because it makes sense to me that the please is where you put your logo forward.
Yes.
And the thank you is, hey, I don't need to promote anymore. I'm thanking you for what you've already done with me, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes people can give a wonderful thank you gift that the gift alone would be great. And then they want to slip their business card into the card. And it's like, you just turned it into a please.
Right. We're speaking with Tracy Jardine, and Tracy is the owner of Tributes by Tracy, which is an executive gifting and holiday giftables company. Holidays are coming up, folks. Now, we've talked a little bit about professional services. You're an ex-CPA, and you've got a lot of personality for being a CPA, by the way.
Maybe it was never.
That's
a good
an old
fit.
joke, right? In fact, that's so old it's got dust on it.
Yes.
But no, seriously, you bring a lot of zest to what you do. I'm curious about your typical client. What is that? I mean, obviously professional services firms, but who else do you work with?
Well, I love working with marketing directors, and I found that a lot of the clients that are coming to me as of recent are commercial trades. So I have large lighting companies, large flooring companies that work with architects. They need to differentiate themselves. There are only a finite number of architects that are driving all of the work. So they need to develop those. I have auto repair places that want to do anniversary gifts for their employees. I have individuals that want to do gifts. Someone has a new baby. Someone has, and that can still fall under executive gifting if I'm making it easier on the owner of the business, right? I handle his wife's anniversary and any baby gifts they need, things like that. So, another area that I'd like to work in is the senior living community. And it has just such a unique group of needs. They still have a lot of that networking type area, but their clients are unique and can sometimes be a little slippery to identify exactly who the client is. Is it the decision-making children? Is it the new resident themselves? And sometimes that's dictated by which building of the senior living community the person is living in.
Sure.
And so to be able to identify what message they're sending to a memory care resident versus an independent or, assisted living might be difficult for them. But we can kind of help work through that and determine what really is an appropriate giftable that sends the right message and gets the resident feeling at home as quickly as possible.
Now, one thing that stood out for me in what you just said is you help men look better than they would otherwise with the gift selections they make. That was important to get that out there, because men are, in general, and maybe not all men, certainly this man, can not be sometimes not too imaginative when it comes to gift giving.
Yes. And that is true. And I'm with you. I don't want to paint a broad stroke. My husband is fabulous. But a lot of them do need some help. And I have many clients that will send me long emails. Mother's Day is coming up. I've done their mother, their sister, their grandmother, all in one. Hey, handle all this. So I love when I get clients who truly start seeing me as their gifting partner. And whatever the occasion might be, whether it's I need a leave behind gift because I'm doing some networking, or I need to take care of those employees, clients, referral sources, or hey, the holidays are coming up. I want to be that one-stop shop for anything gifting. I like to say if it needs a bag, a basket, a box, or a bow, think Tributes by Tracy. And I really do love when clients catch on to that and really reach out to me for absolutely everything.
Sure. Now, I know that you, Tracy, you deal with clients on an individualized basis, but maybe if there's some general thoughts you can offer us as to some ideas that maybe with the holidays coming up particularly, and the Thanksgiving holiday coming up, which is a great time to say thank you to clients and
absolutely
and referral sources. Maybe some general thoughts on some great ways to say thank you with gifts.
Well, I love when we want to make sure that there's something in that giftable that is going to be in front of them at the time we want them to be thinking of us. So, and it doesn't have to be logoed. It could be something that they're going to use on a regular basis that made such an impact on them that they're going to remember who that was from. Or someone's going to say, oh my goodness, that is beautiful. Where did you get that? Oh, that came from my electrician, right? So that's really the key, is making sure that it's not something that's going to be gone so quickly that they forget you in 20 minutes, or not something that you've seen so many times that means everyone else has seen it so many times too, right? So if you say, oh, I love getting X, I'm going to send X, chances are that CPA firm is going to receive 25 of those same X items. So you need to think a little bit outside the box. You need to think of something that maybe you haven't thought of before. And that's really the key to it, is making it unique, but not so unique they'll never use it or look at it again.
Yeah, and there's a better way to put this than the way I'm coming up with right now. But you really, when you're in gift-giving season, you're really kind of in, I'm going to put this in air quotes, competition with all the other gifts that someone is getting, right?
Absolutely.
And it's hard to stand out sometimes.
Have you seen the movie National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation?
Yeah, oh, yes.
I'm sure. Do you remember the scene where Chevy Chase takes the gift in? This is from my wife and I, and they're all shaped exactly the same on the credenza.
Right.
I would love to know what was in that gift. I really would.
Sure.
But they were all the same. Mm-hmm. And going back to that CPA days, you had the same baskets of food and this and sausage and cheese and everything. And it was great. We all had free lunches for a good 3 or 4 weeks. But could we identify who gave what? And did it give us a call to action?
Right.
And, speaking of call to action, it's one thing that I would like to point out. What we would receive at that firm came to the firm. And so there was really no call to action to any of us individually within the firm. I didn't feel compelled to reach out and say thank you or schedule a coffee or send a referral because, well, that wasn't to me. That was to this partner, or that was to him, or that was to her. So I try to coach my clients that, look, your giftable needs to be pointing a finger that says, hey, John, I'm speaking to you. This is for you. I have a call to action for you. And so that's really important as we're gifting. Try not to be so broad. A gift can't be all things to every person. It needs to speak directly to the person that you really need something from or want to thank.
So, Tracy, we at Business Radio X, we're heard all over the planet, wherever someone has an internet connection. So that begs the question, do you do business outside the metro Atlanta area?
I do. I ship anywhere in the continental United States. And I actually have clients that are outside the state of Georgia, which is fabulous. And so, yeah, it makes it very, very exciting.
Excellent. Tracy Jardine. She's with Tributes by Tracy. So, Tracy, for those that would like more information, would like to be in touch, tell them how they can do that.
So you can go to my website at www.tbtracy.com. You can reach out to me by email at tjardine, that's J-A-R-D as in David, I-N-E, at tbtracy.com, and schedule an individual consultation. There's no obligation. It's just chatting. If it appeals to you, we'll get to work.
Sounds great.
All right.
Tracy Jardine, thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much, John.
Folks, today you're more connected than ever, and whether it's your friends, your family, or your life, Renaissance understands how you bank, offering the mobile banking services that you need. Renaissance also knows that sometimes you need to speak with real people and that have real answers, and that's why Renaissance has more than 190 convenient locations throughout the South ready to serve you. For more information, go to renaissancebank.com. Renaissance Bank, understanding you, member FDIC. And now we turn to Jack Spencer, and Jack Spicer. Sorry, Jack. He's the owner of Kitchen Tune-Ups, Alpharetta, Roswell. Jack.
Good morning, John. Great to be here. Thank you.
Sorry I spiced up your name there. Sorry about that.
That happens frequently.
So tell us a little bit about Kitchen Tune-Ups. What are you're obviously working on kitchens for folks, right?
We obviously are. You know, the kitchen is the heart of the home, John.
Yep.
And our business is to go in there and help people to love their kitchens once again. Not only kitchens, but bathrooms and other type of cabinetry and tile product that they might need. So we offer basically 5 different levels of service, 5 different price points for folks to spruce up their kitchens, spruce up their bathrooms. And those services range from what we call wood reconditioning, which is where we can buff up someone's wooden cabinets, make them look almost brand new again without all the muss and fuss of sanding and painting and that sort of thing. We also offer cabinet painting as a second service. But our real sweet spots are what we call cabinet redooring and cabinet refacing. Redooring is where we put on new doors and drawer fronts to give a completely new look and feel to the kitchen. Refacing is where we also put on new doors and drawer fronts, but also cover the existing cabinet boxes in a veneer that matches that new door or drawer. So you really get the look of brand new cabinets for about half the cost of totally ripping out cabinets and putting in new cabinets. Although we can do that. That's our 5th and final service is going in to a person's home, pulling out the cabinets, putting in brand new cabinets.
So let's go back to just why kitchens only, right? I mean, what's the rationale for having a remodeling business that's focused entirely on the kitchen?
Well, kitchen is the heart of the home, John, right? It's where we cook our meals. It's where we have our family gatherings. It really is the heart of the home.
Sure.
And folks want to have a kitchen that is warm and inviting and fairly up to date. So we decided when we and my son went into this business that it made sense to purchase a franchise. This is a franchise. We wanted to focus on the kitchen because we knew that's where people put time and attention and money into. So it made sense to look at that kind of a business. And again, not only kitchens, but bathrooms also have that same sort of appeal to folks. They want their bathrooms, particularly their master baths, to be more modern, to be more up to date, and just to feel more spa-like. That's what a lot of folks go for nowadays. So that's why we kind of chose this business, John.
Sure, that makes sense. And there's a big ROI, as you kind of implied. There's a big ROI on kitchen enhancements, kitchen remodelings when you sell the home, right?
Absolutely. And we several of our clients come to us because they're going to be putting their houses on the market, and they want to update their 1980s kitchen to a 2019 kitchen, so that they can help make the sales process more efficient and get as you said, John, a better ROI on the kitchen investment.
We're speaking with Jack Spicer, and he is the owner of Kitchen Tune-Up in Atlanta, Roswell. I'll get that right in a second. So, Jack, I'm curious. There's lots of remodeling companies out there, lots of different folks that you compete against. What makes Kitchen Tune-Up unique?
In our business, John, unfortunately, a lot of contractors have a not so good reputation. They tend to not show up on time. They tend to kind of leave a mess, tend to drag out a project for folks. And at Kitchen Tune-Up, we really try to flip that completely on its head. We do our jobs quickly. We try to get most of them done within a week, as opposed to the typical 4 to 5 week project. We take care of the home. We respect the home. We clean up every day so that the person can go back into their kitchen typically and at least make coffee and whatnot, even if they can't get into their cabinets.
Sure.
And we also try to provide that just really higher level of service to the client, in particular with just little things like being on time. You say you're going to be there at 8 in the morning. Be there at 8 in the morning. You don't show up at 9:30 or 10. So we try to make this whole kitchen remodeling experience much more positive than what a lot of people have experienced in the past, John.
Jackie, you are offering folks options, which are always powerful. Instead of coming in and saying, well, we need to redo the whole kitchen, which is a pretty expensive option for folks, right? Mm-hmm. You're giving them some intermediate steps to be able to freshen things up.
Absolutely. And that's, I think, one of the other benefits that we bring as a company. Many of our well-known remodeling companies in the area just do the full kitchens, tear out the entire kitchen, put in new cabinets, move walls, that sort of thing. But not everybody needs that. Not everybody wants that. If a person has a kitchen that they like the layout and the cabinet boxes are in good shape, there's no reason to do a complete tear out. And it's also a much greener approach, if you will. When you do a whole kitchen and tear out a whole kitchen, you're putting a lot into the landfills that doesn't necessarily need to go there. So that's kind of the other thing that we bring to it is a green approach and a little quicker approach to have the kitchen work done on a timely fashion.
So give us some general advice. If I've got let's say I'm either buying your house, I've got a house that maybe I've been in for a while. What are the cues that I need to look for that maybe I need to do a little freshen up on my kitchen?
Well, there's a couple of different answers to that, John. You or perhaps your wife watches HGTV. Thank goodness for HGTV.
All the time, yes.
Well, they drive a lot of our business. But that helps give folks a feel for what's sort of stylish and up to date. So really all you need to do to decide if you want to have your kitchen done is to look at your kitchen. And if you look at it and you go, this just doesn't look like what I see Chip and Joanna doing, then it's probably time to do it. If your kitchen is basically over 10 years old, that's when most people start looking at, okay, what can I do to freshen it up?
If it looks like the before on some of these shows as opposed to the after, right?
Yeah. That's a good way to look at it.
Okay, cool. So, Jack, tell me a little bit about, I'm always interested in franchise owners that have a wide variety of choices, franchises they could have purchased. Give folks an idea of who you are, what your background is, and why Kitchen Tune-Up versus a lot of other franchises you could have picked.
Sure, John. Well, I have a little bit probably unusual background for being a kitchen and bathroom modeler, in that I'm a physician. So I have retired from the medical world, and I wasn't quite ready to completely retire. So I wanted to do something that kept me busy. I've always been the kind of guy who likes doing home improvement projects. So it drives my wife crazy sometimes, but I'm always putzing around the house. In fact, I've done my own basements. I've done 3 basements in my own home. I've done it soup to nuts, done all the work, had it inspected, and also I'm a pretty handy guy. So I like doing home improvement. So when it came time to think about a franchise to purchase, I knew I wanted to go that route because of I didn't want to have to reinvent the wheel and start a business from scratch. So I started looking for a franchise that had a good system in place, that had good support for its franchisees, that allowed me to use my handyman skills, so to speak. And the more I researched this particular franchise, Kitchen Tune-Up, the more I found it was really a good fit. It's a franchise that's been around for about 30 years. So any franchise that's been around for more than 10 or 15 years has a pretty good track record. They have more than 170 franchisees across the country, so they have a very good footprint. They're able to get good leverage with cabinet manufacturers, which is important, so that we can get good pricing from them. And they give excellent support to their franchisees. So when I put that whole picture together, it just said this was the way to go, and it's been a fun ride since we started this.
That's great. Jack Spicer, he is the owner of Kitchen Tune-Up in Atlanta, Roswell. Community involvement. Well, would you like to talk about some community involvement that you are active in?
Sure. Probably my favorite charity, if you will, to work with is Habitat for Humanity. And one of the things I looked at when I was thinking about purchasing this franchise, John, was how could I give back to the community? I wanted a business that did allow me to do some giving back. So I'm working with Habitat on helping provide some cabinets for some of the new builds or the remodels that they do, and trying to give them a better price on their cabinets than they might be able to do otherwise. I'm also working with a foster care agency in the area that has built a new building and needs some work done on their cabinets. They're dear friends of ours, and they sort of got the short end of the stick from their contractor, didn't get all their kitchen cabinet work done, so I'm trying to help them finish up their building so that they can provide the services to the foster kids that they're taking care of. So those are kind of the ways that I like to be involved into the community, John. I think it's just really important to do that, giving back.
Sure. And I happen to know that Habitat for Humanity is doing a lot more remodeling now versus new construction, just because of, the cost of real estate and that kind of thing.
That's
a lot of different factors in that. So that really gives you an opportunity to help out in a very special way.
It sure does. Sure does. I've been involved with Habitat for over 20 years, and I just think they're a tremendous organization. Love working with them.
That's fantastic. Jack Spicer. Jack is with Kitchen Tune-Up, Atlanta, Roswell. So, Jack, for those that would like more information, would like to be in touch with you and need a tune-up on their kitchen, tell them how they can
Sure.
get in touch.
Sure, John. Well, website, www.kitchentune-up.com-Atlanta-Roswell-GA. But if you just go in and type kitchentuneup.com, it will take you to our national website. Plug in your zip code, and my franchise will pop up. I should mention, John, that because I'm a franchise, we have territories that we work in. My particular territory is Roswell and East Cobb. There are other franchisees who have the Alpharetta, Johns Creek, Milton area. Another franchisee has the Dunwoody and Sandy Springs. But if someone wanted to just get in touch with me and they're not in my particular territory, I'd be happy to refer them on to my fellow franchisee. Email jspicer@kitchentuneup.com. Works just fine. And the old-fashioned telephone, 404-594-5050.
Sounds great. Jack Spicer, thanks for being with us.
Thank you, John.
Folks, if you need help curing the headaches of administrative tasks, bookkeeping, marketing, maybe you need a tune-up on a presentation, well, go engage a smart and reliable Office Angel. They're not a temp agency or a placement firm. Office Angels matches your business support needs with angels who have the talent and experience necessary to help you maintain and grow your business on an ongoing or as-needed basis. Your terms, your timeline. They lend a hand when needed, and they fly off when the job is finished. Find out more at officeangels.us or call Chief Executive Angel, S.E. Escobedo, at 770-442-9246. And just a reminder, you can listen to this show every Tuesday morning live here at 11:30. And if you miss any of our live shows, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, Overcast, Podbean, I think just about every major podcast app. So there you go. And of course, if you want to just get it to us the old-fashioned way, if you will, you can go to northfultonbusinessradio.com and you can find not only this show, but an archive of now 170 shows over 3.5 years, about 400 guests. We've had quite a cross-section of business leaders in North Fulton and the surrounding area. Also, check us out on social media, whether that's LinkedIn, Twitter, or Facebook. We're at North Fulton BRX. So for our guests, Tracy Jardine and Jack Spicer, I'm John Ray. Join us next time here on North Fulton Business Radio.
Renaissance Rewards Extra is the checking account that checks all the boxes. Roadside assistance? Check. Cell phone insurance? Check. More than 400,000 local shopping discounts? Check. Up to $25 per month in ATM refunds and a great rate? Check. All in an easy-to-use mobile app. To open an account or find out more about Renaissance Rewards Extra Checking, go to renaissancebank.com or visit us at any of our more than 190 locations throughout the South. Renaissance Bank. Understanding you. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.